Hey, what's going on? My name is Donald Seymour Jr. This is Automotive Magazine. I have with you my boy Chris. Make some noise,
Yo,
Chris.
what's up? What's up?
My boy Kenya Johnson.
Yo.
So yeah, we coming to you right now, and we about to educate you and have some fun and some time about this automotive industry. So we are going to lead in with, let me see, get this right. We're going to lead in with the Chinese market, right? So my first question to Kenya, should we be afraid of the Chinese market?
Well, let's see. In terms of competition for Tesla, yes. If they make it over here to the United States, which is the United States, as you know, is probably the world's second largest car market. And that's if they make it over here. They already have made it over to the UK. They already have made it over to Europe, some places, and even in Australia. And so it's definitely cause for concern if Tesla wants to stay number one for however long they plan on staying number one. Also, the quality of the BYD cars and Neo cars, the ones that are being exported, are comparable to actually they're besting Tesla in a lot of ways, especially like BYD, the BYD seal, compared to the Model 3 is besting it in a lot of different ways in terms of luxury, build quality, and what so have you. And so it is a little bit of cause for concern for the American, electric car company like Tesla, who right now is number one selling electric car company in the United States. The legacy car makers, well, that's a different story. They got
They're still figuring
a
this stuff out.
whole bunch of other stuff they got to figure out. So, but other than that, I mean, in terms of regular vehicles like hybrids and combustion engine cars, the answer is no. I don't think that any car maker has to worry about that.
Yeah, not especially not from China. I would agree. Yeah,
100%.
Because for one, dude, how many people actually want to buy a Chinese-made vehicle? A lot of people don't want no Chinese-made vehicle.
exactly.
In the United States, for one. If Joe Biden somehow allows them to export over here, without putting sanctions on them and what so have you. If that happens, how many people are actually going to take the bait? So a lot of people, you ask and you talk to them, I don't want nothing made from China. They always say that stuff.
And
so
you're not gonna get an older population. They're not gonna want to do that.
Yeah. So, Chris, why should we be afraid? Should we be afraid of China entering into the American market?
I would say not as of right now, no. But it is something to look out for because of their export dominance. They have almost emerged as like a world leader, like Kenya mentioned. They've got the UK, they're moving to Australia. I'll say this too. I mean, this is a little more subjective, but they have some nice cars.
They do.
yeah,
And I think,
especially that Hi-Fi Z, man.
that Hi-Fi Z
And
that's a beautiful car. But I think you have those key players like BYD, Neo, what's the SAIC, I think it's the other one.
There's a whole
You
bunch
have
of them. A lot of them look the same.
I think Dongfeng or
Dongfeng.
something. Yeah. They are some key players in this market, and they're not putting out no trash stuff. I mean, they have came to the EV market with some competitive vehicles. And you also look at with the export of Chinese cars, with them dominating that section, U.S. is almost like a decline in their export. So I think in order for the U.S. to kind of keep up, it's not that they're doing bad right now because Tesla is. I mean, that car is globally selling. as one of the top. The Model Y is slowly selling as a top car, but
One of the
I think
best
right,
selling cars, period.
yeah, I
Right
mean
now, second
right under the
Corolla.
Corolla. I just think they're gonna. I think in order for the U.S. to really stand out, they're gonna have those legacy car makers kind of go along with Tesla to almost like
A
a hard
band.
front. All got to band
Yeah,
together because
yeah.
China's gonna band together.
Oh yeah,
We know
100.
they're gonna band together. It's all. I mean, it's all in their country. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
their cultural.
they all come together for one thing. It's all one big purpose, one great purpose. I don't think Tesla will not be enough to stand front and center to defend against the Chinese market. I think you're going to need the legacy car makers as BMW. You're going to need Mercedes. You're going to need Ford. You're going to need. I mean, you're going to need. I would say even Lucid. I mean, you're going to need everybody to come together all in one and band against that. And it's not to say that China's making bad stuff. It's just that from a political realm, it is very controversial and it can cause a lot of spark.
I mean, the whole reason behind the issues of allowing them, because apparently it violates the Inflation. They don't agree with the Inflation Reduction Act. They feel like the IRA actually violates the World Trade Organization principles.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's like, it's a security issue, and they're one of the countries of concern, so we don't want to let their vehicles over here for security reasons. So that's a political side.
They're showing that now with TikTok. I mean, they've essentially, TikTok is a Chinese-owned company. They are essentially holding TikTok hostage. They say if you don't sell this company to a U.S. company, we will ban you from the state. That's how that right there is a good example of where we stand with China. We don't want something like a vehicle coming over here and something happening on that end. So it's just like there is a fear. I would even reframe the question. I don't even think should we be afraid. I think we already are, based off how things are looking right now. We're over here tripping out about a social media app.
Whoa.
So you think they're gonna let some cars come into the market? But it's all about it's like their global expansion strategies. China does have global expansion strategies. And one of them ways that they're trying to do it, they've already done it in the UK, they've already done it in Australia, they've done it in different places. They're almost gonna adopt it similarly to the Japanese or like Korean manufacturers. Where they're gonna gradually come into the market. Gradually, slowly come into the market. And you may have they may put sanctions on the vehicles, there might be all different types of things. But I think if China wants to come in, they're gonna have to gradually come in, ever so slightly. And then by that time, if they are dropping cars as better, if they can somehow find a way, which would be really difficult, to get the American market to buy their cars over American cars, then we should be heavily afraid.
I'm gonna interject this. Let me interject this. And I
Yeah.
think one of the reasons why there is a true sincere sense of fear coming for America is that when you look at, there's two things I want to address. When you look at China as a whole and you look at their ability to make automobiles and you look at the prices of their automobiles,
They're low.
when they are low, and
they're
when
not like sacrificing necessarily quality as far as we can see.
Exactly.
As far as we can see, though.
So
as far as we can see. Okay, key word.
Let me say this. But everything we have in America, guess what? A majority of the stuff that we have in America,
in terms of electronics, comes from China.
Right? And so here's the thing. This is what I want to think. That does intimidate any American car maker, whether it's Tesla. Like at the end of the day, yeah, I want to go with the legacy automakers. But if BYD Leopard come in here, Leopard 5 come in here for a reasonable price for like $40K, you think I'm going to buy something else? Because right now, my pocket says I'm going to wherever my pocket can handle. And
that's most buyers.
Exactly. And so, yes, we care about quality. Yes, we care about legacy. However, right now in this time, in this economy, the most buyers will go to people or companies per se that they can afford, that is reasonable, within reasonable means. And so, yeah, I would be afraid. The other part of my statement is the hypocrisy from America, all right? And I don't want to get in political. This is not political, but this is more of a moral stance. Like, China has allowed the American sedans to enter into their market. American, German, they allowed all these exports into their market.
Yeah.
All right. It's only right and it's only ethical if you have allowed your country to feed my country for me to allow my country to feed your country. Right? It's only ethically right. Right? And so I want to read out some points made by Sebastian Bell at carscoops.com. China will dispute the Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, at the World Trade Organization, claiming all it wants is a fair playing field in the EV market. And I think that's ethically should be given to them. That's ethically right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
go ahead,
ethics
King.
and politics sometimes like go hand in hand.
So
That is
now
true.
we got to think about what are the stipulations for Americans selling cars in China, because
Exactly.
does Tesla outsell BYD in China? No. There are a lot of American companies at a huge disadvantage over there in China because a lot of subsidies are provided for startup brands over there in China that we don't get over here in America.
Right.
So, it's not. It's I guess they're not as strict as we are, but they still do have some kind of roadblock there for American imports. So you're not gonna see the Model Y do a lot of great numbers, or the Model 3 do great numbers over there against the BYD seal in China.
Right.
Yeah. So we're gonna move forward. Any more comment statements concerning this?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's a bit unfair, for them to. I agree with you. I mean, and me personally, I'm like, a good car is a good car.
Amen.
Yeah.
A lot of people
100%.
gonna say, "Oh, you will drive that Chinese-made garbage."
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
Yeah.
good, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
if
don't
it's not
wherever
hurting
it
my
comes
pocket,
from.
Exactly.
if it's not hurting my pocket, that's okay with me. You can have your opinion.
Yeah,
But
if it's good, it's good. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I would like to see a brand new automaker come to America for once. It's been a long time.
It's been a very, very long time.
Be Neo,
Exactly.
BYD,
Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi,
Exactly.
that Hi-Fi Z.
Yeah, listen, that car comes over here.
Oh yeah,
EV should be concerned.
You should be.
Because that car is phenomenal.
That car right there would take America by storm.
Yeah.
Jeez whiz. And here's the thing about that car. That car actually has range.
Yeah.
Real
legit range. And it doesn't suffer as much during cold weather.
Yeah, and we saw the numbers in the test.
We saw the numbers during that cold weather test compared to a bunch of other EVs that the Hi-Fi Z did not lose as much range, as much battery capacity during what was the temperature outside? It was below freezing.
Yeah.
And so
isn't it interesting though that if we look at if China has already been providing all the electronic stuff for a plethora of years, they could almost hold that over America as either you let us bring our EVs here, but we will stop our import of electronic. And you know what? We all know America. We used to be a country that used to like and make a lot of stuff. Now we source everything out. Everything from food, everything from electronics. I mean, everything is sourced out outside of the country. Whether it's to Mexico, whether it's to South America, whether it is to the UK, or whether it is China or India. We source a lot of things out. So that is one way you can see that China could hold that over America's head, as if if you don't let our EVs have a level playing field, let us be fair and competitive. That's all we're asking for. Then we will draw back our production of electronics for you guys. So
Yeah.
America will have to make a decision if it comes to that point. But
And,
I'm no politician, so I can only look from the outside in.
and their requirement for importing over here is it has to be built locally over here in the United States. It cannot have parts assembled from foreign entities of concern. And so the components have to be built over here in the United States. So that's the requirement for it to qualify for the $7,500, rebate that you get,
Right.
tax rebate that you get.
Yeah.
That will allow it to sell. So,
and that's reasonable to a degree because we also have manufacturing. A lot of our cars company have manufacturers in China, Ford, GM, and so on.
Yeah.
So I would say this: one of the reasons that I like the idea of China entering into America is to create market competition. Like, if we have more options to choose from, it's going to be more financial feasible for an individual to buy a car. The less competition we have, the more prices are going to maintain the same and they're going to go up, right? And so if China enter the market at an affordable rate, affordable price, then ultimately what can happen is it can create that competition. And so we won't be looking at a compact car for $40,000 anymore. We'd be looking more in the range of maybe 30, 35,000, right? Tops. And so I'm ready to bring back affordability, And so I think that's one of the things that when it comes to China can implement that. And I don't understand the whole rationale behind that, but I do understand that they might be afraid of that competition. So, fellas, do we have anything else we want to add?
I just want to add one last thing. That's actually not really. I mean, it shouldn't be brought into politics. That's an Elon Musk problem. That's not a Joe Biden problem.
Exactly.
So, if anybody should be afraid, it should be Elon Musk, not Joe Biden. So, I mean, unless Joe Biden is a huge fan of Tesla, Elon Musk is not a fan of Joe Biden.
They're a huge fan of what has their resume.
So.
So, moving on. We are going to talk about legacy. That's the plan. That's the legacy. We're going to talk about
what the Subaru legacy. What'd you say?
No.
Let's get Elton in here, can you?
Nah.
Yeah, he got a Subaru legacy, man.
Oh no, we gotta pray for him then. So listen, this is what I want to bring up. Is it smart for Ford to keep pouring into the EV market?
They have no choice. You don't jumped in this pool in the deep end, and now you can't get out. You don't have to. They have invested so much into that market, and at a time where I don't think it was the best. I mean, we saw everything. If we look at the numbers all the way back from when the F-150 Lightning released, the car, they were losing almost $40,000 per sale on their EV. And that goes from everything from the F-150 Lightning to the Mach-E to all of them. So they can't just pull out. I think they're gonna have to stay, and they're gonna have to improve. I mean,
Are you
if
sure?
they had, I think so. I mean, what can they do in opposition to help repair this problem? I think the only thing they can do is in my opinion, I would say get on the Tesla charging platform and improve your vehicles. It's not to say that the Mach-E is not a bad car. If it were me, I would get the Mach-E over the Model Y, if I had to pick. But if Ford wants to stay afloat in the EV market, I think it's going to have to improve, and they're going to have to get on a sustainable charging platform like Tesla. They already are on.
I kind of want to disagree on that because
likewise,
if they are it's like if you're in quicksand, the thing you don't want to do is to go down. So you don't try to pull yourself down. You got to try to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
and so
But quicksand's hard to get out of.
only thing is the way to do that. Well, for them, we already know ICEs are profitable. And so what you got to do is make up for those losses. Hybrids are seeing a spike in sales right now, upwards.
Yeah.
And so they do have a good F-150 hybrid. What's it called? What is it called?
F-150 hybrid.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so it is really good. It's getting good reviews. People love it. So I think they should do what other car makers are doing. They're taking a step back on their plans for the near future for electric vehicles, including General Motors, because they're not doing the numbers that is necessary to generate the profit that they need to continue to invest in them, to put that much trust in them like that. And so what they're doing is they're going to, okay, well, maybe we're moving too fast, so we're going to have to, give them a stopgap. So that seems to be hybrid. So hybrid sales are going up. So it looks like to me, Toyota is right. As much as people dog him out, for not going all in on EVs, Mr. Toyota himself, the CEO of Toyota, is actually correct in saying that, the market share for EVs is not big enough, to be profitable. It's not going to get past 30% of the market by 2030. Might not even be 2035. Right now, EVs are at 18% of the world market.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, which is actually more than I expected. But, subsidies and things like that have a part to play.
Incentives.
Incentives and stuff like that.
It will
Shoving
play
it
a
down
part.
people's throat and not giving them a choice is going to increase sales naturally. So,
right.
But they're not, as profitable as ICEs. And so in order to negate, because the thing is that what they have to figure out is how can we avoid getting fined for not meeting the EPA's requirements for fuel economy and greenhouse gases average across our lineup, because there's an average that the EPA is going to require for each automaker.
Yeah.
A completely green vehicle is called a zero emissions vehicle. And so when you take an average and you add up these numbers and you divide it by the amount of vehicles you have in that lineup, there's going to be a zero there for one of the vehicles. And so that's going to bring the average way down.
Right.
And so you have a choice whether or not you want to buy green credits or whether or not you want to pay a fine or just go all in on EVs. That way you don't have to do neither one. Or another alternative is to go hybrid.
Yeah.
Which has a much lower footprint, CO2 footprint than, ICEs. And so since EVs not profitable, even though they provide zero emissions, you don't have to pay fines or buy green credits. You can do that, or you bring your average down by making hybrids. Hybrids are still more profitable. So
that's one route that I think. Well, I think all car buyers should take is step back to the hybrid section of the car market. I think it's more responsible move now. You want, and if you're gonna do that, look at the guys who are already doing that, being successful, meaning Toyota. They've been doing it for the longest. But now they're only increasing it, and they seem to be doing fine. So I think Ford should adopt some of those characteristics from a brand like Toyota to almost, I would say you don't have to keep pouring into the EV market with because we already know that's not working. But I think, yes, you should expand it out to hybrids and offer those options. I think Ford should bring back almost something similar to like a Fusion or something, a sedan like that. But it has to be something that's going to hit the market big. that's gonna, let everybody know that they're back. We all know the Mustang. We all know about the F-150, but we don't. Does Ford really have a sedan that is
No.
really?
No,
They
not at
have
all.
no sedans. They don't believe in
None
sedans.
whatsoever.
The
That's
only
unbelievable.
Ford sedan I see
It's in
is
China.
a police cruiser, and it's a Taurus.
Okay, I take
Yeah,
that
but
back.
that's been out of production for a
But
long
that's done.
time.
They don't even make it no more.
Yeah. I take that back. They have sedans in China, and
Yeah,
so,
but not over
but that don't
here.
count. Yeah, that don't
They
count.
got a Lincoln Zephyr. They didn't bring it over here. Like,
Yeah, and they have the Ford Modena in China too as well. And so
I don't know.
yeah. One of the things I want to interject is, so is it wise for Ford to keep pouring capital back into the EV market? And my answer to that is no. Right? We can look at the sales numbers right now.
The sales numbers are not even
horrible.
close. Look
Exactly.
at the F-150, the regular
Exactly.
one.
Yeah.
Last year,
Exactly.
or the year, but in 2022, sold 650,000. The F-150, and last year, 750,000 F-150s. The F-150 Lightning,
You could forget
15,000.
pitiful.
15,000.
Not even close. I have not seen one F1. I may have seen one.
I seen
Maybe
one.
I've seen
One.
two since they've been made.
Since
Two,
they've
that's it.
been on sale on the road.
I seen one. And so getting back, so again, what Kenyon was saying is 2022, they only sold 15,000. All right. 2023.
Or 24,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Very small number.
Very
Yeah,
small
yeah,
number.
20
Year to date, 24,000,
Yeah, year to date.
15,000 in 2022.
Yeah. And year to date for 2023 total is 24,000. And so that's not good numbers, right?
Not
No.
at all.
And so it's like I'm pouring my finances into a hole.
Yeah.
And if you look at, really, EVs are not going nowhere. Like, EVs are not showing like we expecting them to, right? And it all comes back to that whole element of class and status. People only associate Tesla with class and status. And that's the only reason why people are buying Tesla. People are not buying other vehicles because of the EV. They could care less, right? So you look at the Rivian R1T sales. They're not doing that great either.
No.
Rivian's got some stuff they got to figure out, because they also stopped production on their plant down here in Savannah.
10,000 in 2022, and then 19,000 last year.
Exactly.
I mean, and you have to look at the plant that they stopped down here in Georgia. Governor Kemp was really upset about that, because they have stopped the production on building the plant.
Yeah.
So it's just that, as we all understand that the bigger the application you try to go with an EV, the almost worse they become.
Yeah. That is very true.
And I do not quite understand why. I don't know why they don't just stick with the Model 3 and the Model Y size. Why do y'all have to go up to these large applications to feel out the market as if it needs that?
Well,
I just don't think it's necessary.
Greenhouse gases,
Regulation.
Yeah, regulations, man. Especially for the legacy car makers, like, they gotta be really hurting, because even with their ICEs, they gotta hold them back just to, make sure they meet requirements, which are always getting more strict. They're not lightening up on them; they're getting more strict. So,
yeah.
So the pressure is on them,
And and I want to inject this. So the next path, I think we all have a consensus, and we all agree on that hybrid are the way. It's the gap. It's what's going to bridge the gap.
Why are they not selling more? Why are they not selling more hybrids when, look, okay, they have more moving parts, they're more complicated, they have electric motors and a battery pack and an engine and a transmission. That's not your problem. Look,
yeah, no,
that is the manufacturer's problem. That's not your problem. Okay, look, if you're worried about reliability, I know a person right now, personally, who has 300,000 miles on his Toyota Prius that he does Uber, he does rideshare in. And he's had that car for a long time. And it's never had any issues with it.
And you know
kid
why?
you not.
Do you know why?
Because it's built by Toyota.
That is true too. But hybrids put a far less strain on the gas engine.
That's a good point.
It's less strain on the gas engine as opposed to the gas engine going straight to the wheels, right?
Right.
And so it's less strain, and so the gas engine is just essentially sitting inside a cup producing electric energy, right? And so it's less strain on the engine and it's less strain on the battery, right? So they're working together to create more power, right? And it's less strain on both parties.
Well, we see it. Look at endurance racing. I mean, look at all endurance racing cars.
They're hybrids. You can't
you have instant acceleration to the wheels coming out of the pits, things like that, and it kicks right to a motor. I mean, it's just it's a more efficient way to make a car.
Only problem is packaging though, because some of them still taking up trunk space.
Right. And they get very heavy.
They do get heavy. I will get that.
But I think they can adjust to that, man. I would deem that as they can't do it. I think they can for sure adjust to that. Increasing size.
Yeah, they can. The only thing is are they ever really gonna be as light as a combustion engine vehicle? You know, that's the only drawback. You know,
I don't think that's
that battery technology go.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue because it's not that it's like. I mean, let's be honest. It's about efficiency, right? And weight does count into efficiency, right? However, once you get the hybrid and you get a better gas mileage, that's the end goal, right? So we do know it weighs more, right? Hypothetically, in something in a similar class, but the overall arcing theme is: are we going to get better gas mileage? And if we're going to get better gas mileage because of extra 100 pounds or more so 200 pounds, it's added.
We'll get better gas mileage.
More than that though. It's going to be more. It depends on how big that battery pack is.
Yeah.
And like if you look at the Panamera Turbo S hybrid, it weighs quite a bit more than the regular Turbo S. So I mean, and both of them have the V8, and this just shows you know, how much weight you adding. So
but we out here releasing EVs that weigh 4,000 pounds.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't really see an issue with it. We already doing that with these EVs.
Yeah, I get it.
Damn near road hazards.
Hey, I get it. And they bad on tires. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I want to lead into this. We talking about Ford, and I think what was oh my God, what was so hilarious. What was so I don't know who highlighted this, and it was hilarious, is that by recording 40,771 sales in 2023, the Ford Mach-E was ranked as the 4th best-selling EV last year. And you're thinking to yourself, like, if you live in an echo chamber, you'll be like, wow. I guess that's pretty good.
Wow. This is very, very distant.
Oh my God! Like, and it's so funny that the play on words that they use, because
you're gonna be thinking it's right behind like
a Model Y or something.
Exactly. Right?
It's not even close.
It's not even close. It's not even enough to sustain a market. It's not even enough to sustain profit at all. So when you look at Tesla Model Y, oh my God,
394,000.
They're behind. That's number 3, right? Wait, yeah.
No, the Model Y is number 1.
Model Y is number 1.
Number 2 is the Model 3.
Model 3.
And the number 3 is the Bolt.
Yes.
That happens quite often down in the city.
Yeah. And so, that's crazy. And so
I'm surprised the Ioniq 5 is not on here. I see that thing frequently.
All the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
especially down in the city.
exactly. I think for Ford, it's time for them to hang it up. I think they
Yeah,
have to make some really tough decisions when it comes to their stakeholders and their shareholders. They're gonna have to make some tough decisions, and they're gonna have to execute, and they're gonna have to go hybrid. And that's my thought process, and that's gonna be the best way and the best method of making a profit.
So
Incorporating. Okay, Ken, what you about to say?
I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree. That's all. I'm just shaking my head. Yes, I think that that's the best thing to do. I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh no.
I think, yeah, what would it take for Ford to be successful in EV market? I was thinking about that question. So, and
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
gonna cut you off. You
okay,
know,
okay,
what if they made a
okay.
what if they made a Model 3 comparison? Like almost like
Woo.
a car. What if they drop something like that? I just
it's
think they should. I think they should. I see it as they can't. Like they can get out of it and do the hybrids, but I think they should. They should. I think they should just step the game up. Y'all came in this game weak,
well,
Exactly.
and now now you're
well,
screwed.
the Mach-E is actually not even a bad
It's not.
small compact crossover EV
Besides when
crossover.
they write the scanner break.
If you like you said, I would pick a Mach-E. I've actually seen the Mach-E in person, up close,
Yeah.
got inside the interior, looked at it. Been inside the Model Y, looked at that, and honestly, some people might knock me upside my head for saying this, but I prefer the Ford. You prefer the
I do
Ford
too.
over a Tesla?
Yeah.
I can't believe you. What are you
Yeah.
thinking? There's something wrong with you. Dude, I've seen both cars up close. Maybe I was just tripping that day, but I thought the Mach-E was a nicer vehicle on the inside.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. I think
And
Tesla.
so,
I mean, Tesla's just
so
Tesla.
they
Dude.
don't have a bad
Screen on
product.
wheels.
Both of
Okay.
them are screens on wheels. It's just one is a nicer screen on wheels.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and the
And
other
so,
one is
I mean, and as far as the performance and range and stuff, yeah, Tesla, they've been had that advantage and stuff like that. I give them that. But it's in terms of just a nicer car to be inside, because I mean, yeah, they got the charge network, but the charge network, Ford is sharing that now.
right.
They would have.
But why is it that okay? I see that Tesla has already put all their cars on the table. Why aren't automakers taking advantage of releasing something that's going to be better than that Model 3 and Model Y, or on that similar platform, but that is going to take them out?
Okay.
Well, that's what the
Go
Mach-E
ahead.
is for. It was supposed to be better.
That Model Y kind of.
Let me interject this. And you kind of went, past question number one that we had for Ford, but we'll go back to that. Is it what would it take for Ford to be successful in the EV market, right? And you kind of asked that question, right?
Yeah.
They have all the cars on the table.
Exactly. And so my question or my train of thought is, why are you not coming out with something so spectacular, visually spectacular? That's the key point. Visually, like it's stunning. Like it's going to hit you in your mouth, right? Something that's going to cultivate and going to cause a commotion, right? If you're going to come into an unknown market, you got to come fight it. You got to come. And so my question is, why do you think Ford did not come fighting, right? And so why do you think Ford, did they settle too much on their heritage when they enter into the EV market, or what?
Because these automakers are skittish. That's the problem. They're scared of Tesla. They're scared of Tesla. I don't think it's
and Hyundai.
Why is it that? I mean, if you just look at, we know Tesla are the big dogs in the EV market, but y'all got to do better than this. I think everything goes to the BMW, to the Mercedes, I think it goes to all of them. I mean, y'all, we got to do better than that.
I would like to ask you, Chris, what do you think that Ford is missing with the Mach-E that the Model Y has?
I think the car is already better than the Model Y. I just think it has to. Whether it's a marketing issue or whether it's the fact that they weren't on the best charging platform early because they didn't really have a choice. I know the car is better, I just think maybe it's a marketing issue that it's not getting out there. But
Because
it's seen. It's known.
yeah,
I just think Tesla has a stranglehold on the EV market when it comes to the buyers because of the illusion that it provides to a lot of people when they purchase one. Of
Exactly.
it being this kind of luxury, kind of like high class feel.
So you think it's the lack of education for
I would
a
say that,
vehicle
yeah.
or like a
Yeah.
Mach-E, whereas people,
Right.
know what they're getting when they get a Tesla.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because I mean, and so I guess that kind of leads into because what I think before I go to number 2 on here is that they try to rely on their heritage. Why? Because they call it the Mustang Mach-E. It's not even really called the Mach-E.
Yeah.
They call it the Mustang Mach-E, and
That's
they
a great
try to
point.
make it fast in a quarter mile. They try to make it quick.
Mhm.
They gave it Mustang tail ends. They gave it a Mustang look, because they know the Mustang is popular. But it's the part of the reason why I don't like it. It's because it's an insult. You're taking something that is an icon,
right.
and you're making it seem like it's cool as an SUV. It's cornballish.
Yeah, it is corny.
It's corny. I don't even call it a Mustang. I just call it a Mach-E, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It
ain't no Mustang.
It's not a
Let's get
Mustang.
that
It
up
should
out of
not have been called a Mustang at all. It was not necessary for
Whoever
them to
made
do
a
that.
decision was too high on their horse and thought that well, let's put a Mustang badge on it and then
Make it sporty looking.
Yeah,
Make it cool.
and it should sell like the rest. No, that's delusional, man.
Yeah. Let me interject this, and I want to answer Kenya's question that you asked the question, Chris. Yes, the Mach-E is better and superior, right, for the most part, in build quality to the Tesla Model Y, right? It's superior. And that's one of the things that I want to approach about that. I can care less if it's superior, if it in build quality, if it takes and take all these points, right? The whole totality of it is when you are doing something, you have to present it in the best fashion, right? And so the Mach-E doesn't has that zest or zing to it whatsoever. Now, if they made a 4-door low sling sporty sedan and call it the Mustang, and it had abnormal power, like maybe 700 or 800 horsepower EV, right? And it was sensual, sexy, and it had like you have to make a trendsetter in order to enter into an unknown market. Period.
That's true.
And that's what I feel like Ford was relying too much on their heritage when they was entering into this unknown market. They're like, oh well, people know us, and so we just gonna put this car out here, and people already know who we are. They're like, no, you have to come out fighting, right? And just because you are a legacy automaker, that doesn't negate the fact that you still have to do your homework. You still have to put in the hard work, and you have to fight like it's your first time, right?
Yep.
And so that's something that Ford did not do with the Mach-E. The Mach-E, I think for what it's worth, like we all agree upon, it's a great car. But it doesn't state that to the it doesn't make me go, oh wow.
It has a lot of shock value.
Exactly. Look at that. That's the Mach-E.
It's the difference between good and greatness.
Exactly. And so whenever you presenting something, you should fight. And that's one thing, and I love this. Chris summed it up in general with the consensus of how legacy automakers operate. They are skittish, right? They don't put their best foot forward. They get complacent, and they don't want to fight. They don't want to show something that's just gonna wow us, right?
Yeah, because other automakers like Chinese ones don't got to worry about that because Tesla isn't really in their market like that. So
exactly.
We see what they're coming out with, like
well,
hi-fi.
Exactly. But here's the thing about the Chinese automakers that a lot of people don't understand. They are importing a lot of car designers from Europe and America, right? Because you have to understand the car designing field is very competitive, right? And so if you really want to test your steel, you go to China, right? And so a lot of them are going to China, and they are not being mandated with this heritage. They have to create their own heritage. And so when you create your own heritage, you can have fun, right? And the Chinese board and investors, they're not as domineering over the design process of the vehicle, right? And so they'll tell the key points of what they want in the vehicle, right? And they meet those. But outside of that, the designers have a lot of play, they have a lot of play in how they deliver the product, right? That's when you get the Hi-5Z and the Neo. You get these designs that are beautiful, that have the wow factor, right? And I think that's one of the reasons, kind of going back to the original question, Chinese automakers, when you look at a lot of their creme de la creme cars, they have that wow factor. They have it.
Okay, Neo, I mean, BYD, I mean, especially the BYD seal.
And in the Leopard, that's my favorite.
It looks, I mean, the BYD at least, the seal looks, the seal sedan I'm talking about. It looks like
it look all right.
It don't stand out like that. Neither does Neo, neither does Dongfeng or the other Chinese. I mean, some of them look the same to me. So
no, I mean,
the Hi-5Z is the one standout over there.
Yeah, that's the one
that
car. That car, you stay away from America if they want to stay alive. You may convince some Chinese car buyers to get that car.
But I don't mean to cut Donald off. You can go ahead. Continue.
Okay, I'm gonna sum that up with the Ford should have came out with a flagship style,
like a flagship, like
EV.
SUV.
No. It could be a SUV. It could be anything. But when we say flagship, meaning I'm putting my best effort into it, and it's the top, and it's the creme de la creme, and it has to look sensual, sexy, masculine, all that. It has to have that bravado to it and that wow factor. And I don't think they rely too much on their heritage, when they enter the EV market. They think people
he made a good point. It was in the name. Ford Mach-E.
I will say this to counterpunch that argument.
Go ahead.
Because you remember the best-selling EVs before Tesla showed up was what? The Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
Well, that was because it was the only thing out there, right? It was the only thing that was on sale. Now, if Tesla had said, okay, we're just going to make an equivalent to the Leaf, and this is where your argument proves valid. If they were just to make an equivalent to the Leaf, something that was just as good, then it wouldn't have taken off. And this is where you have the benefit of being first, because you get to stand out like a sore thumb. Nobody has to go looking for you. You don't have any competition. That's the benefit of being a monopoly. You don't have competition. You don't have to compete. You almost don't even have to advertise. You don't really have to advertise the brand because you don't have any competitors to advertise against. You don't have to talk about your advantages versus your competitor. You don't have to talk about, we have the most space, we have the most horsepower, we have the most range. Well, we have the most technology.
Tesla's just like, here's our new Tesla.
They don't have to say that. They just say, our electric vehicles have a private charge network and we deliver 300 miles in range. Go get them.
And people
that's all you have to do. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on advertising. And so that's the benefit of being first. It gives you the momentum. And in order to take that away, it takes actually a greater force.
Exactly.
A much greater force to knock that off
the pedestal.
Because, and that means that, you have to come out with something that is really too good to make money off of, because it would have to be too much. It would have to be too good to sell at a similar price. And so that's the benefit they have right now. And don't get me wrong, because being a little bit better is not good enough.
No,
Exactly.
you have to be great. you have to stand out.
And so that's the issue that I think on top of that is a lack of education. A lot of people don't do their homework on vehicles at all, period. When a person says they want an EV, the first thing that comes to them, I want a Tesla. And I'm like, there's so many other EVs out there right now, right? Like Volkswagen got some EV. They got an ID4.
Which is ugly, but continue.
But, okay. You see, you're just saying that to get on my nerves. I already know you. I know you. You're saying that to get on my nerves.
No. I'm saying that to get on my nerves. Go ahead.
You're not. I got you, man.
I got you too.
Got you. You just saying you just coming after the empire. You a Volkswagen hater. You know that. You a hater.
No.
Yeah.
I actually forgot to put a line on this, and I'm like, I was like, didn't I forget something? But no, I forgot it. But go ahead, Ken.
Yeah. But I was just saying that because they can't just make an EV and think that this is the trend. People since Tesla is selling well, that means that the EV market is big and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And so I do agree with you to some degree. And so the question, the answer to number 2 is, what would it take for Ford to be successful in the EV market? What kind of product would they have to release in order to compete, in order to do more than 40,000 sales compared to 394,000 sales,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's not so simple, because sometimes the best cars don't always sell the best in this market. It's subjective. And so at the end of the day, and they have the benefit of being first. It takes time for, an automaker, for people to realize, okay, these guys are not that good. We're flocking over here now. The Teslas that we see now might be totally different in 10 years. They might not be on top. History tells us that some automakers that used to be great, after a certain amount of mistakes and mishaps for too long, they ended up being something else. Later on, they ended up being out of business.
Mm-hmm.
So
also, like, what's the Fisker?
Not to get off tangent, but just making that point, that could end up happening. What it would take for them to be successful in the EV market, though, well, it's kind of hard to say, because it's like, what else can you do? You got on Tesla's charge network. The Mach-E, is maybe not quite as much range as the Model Y, but it's similar. Acceleration is similar to the Model Y. It might not be as much to a quarter mile, but it's good enough. Yeah. It's got a nicer interior. I will say that from what I've experienced personally. And it's called a Mustang Mach-E. It's not even called. So they want you to feel like you're driving a Mustang.
Right.
You're driving.
That's all. That's all.
So what can they do? The F-150 Lightning. Well, I think that's failing because people just don't like the idea of how demanding workloads using EV tech.
Yeah.
So that's not going to sell regardless of what they do. I think the Cybertruck is probably not going to sell. I could be totally wrong.
You are 100% wrong. Like, listen, I want to interject. Let me say this.
You think the Cybertruck is going to sell?
The Cybertruck is going to outsell everything.
I'm not saying it's going.
Kenyon, listen to me. And we had this conversation before. Listen. The
Cybertruck is ugly, for one thing.
Okay, okay. These fighting words. Listen, you had just
ugly.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You just saying this stuff.
Okay, no, listen.
Are you kidding me?
Listen to me.
That thing was like a Halo vehicle.
Listen to me. Listen, Kenyon.
Oh my goodness.
And I want to be real. Listen. I want to be real. Listen, I
No,
want to be
man.
real.
They
Listen,
don't, no, bro.
let
Look,
me take this. Listen.
that thing
All right,
looks,
let's put the looks aside, right?
that
We're
thing
gonna
looks
talk
like
about
a
the looks right
bottom
now.
of a tennis shoe. That thing.
Listen. Let me talk about this, right? The looks, right? We're gonna put the looks aside, right? We talked about this, right? When it comes to Tesla, excuse me,
Don't even
when it comes
show
to
it either. Don't
Texas,
pull it up either. I don't want to look at
listen,
it.
when it comes to Tesla, we are talking about branding and nameplate, right?
Like I
The
said,
Tesla
that
model,
only goes for so far.
listen. Tesla Model Y look like a jelly bean turd, right? It's
Okay,
not an attractive vehicle,
I'll give
right?
you that. I'll give you that.
Right?
Yeah.
But
It's not.
people love it. And here's the reason why people love it, right? They love it because of the nameplate, right?
Yeah.
Tesla says, when I buy a Tesla, I'm affiliating myself with the prestige of a Saudi company, right?
Okay, like the dystopian future almost.
Exactly. So I'm affiliating this. And the Ford Lightning does not say that. It doesn't state that, right?
Yeah.
If I'm an observer and I'm looking at the Ford Lightning, I'm like, I'm not even thinking it's a Ford Lightning. It looked like a Ford.
Like a Halo vehicle from
No,
Halo.
I'm talking about the Ford Lightning.
Video game.
Listen, I'm talking
you
about the
talking about
Ford
the
Lightning.
you talking about the
I'm
Ford
talking about the Ford
F-150
Lightning. When I look at the Ford Lightning, I'm like,
that
oh
looks
man,
good. It looks like a Ford
it's
F-150.
It's like an
exactly.
F-150.
That's my point. It's a Ford F-150, right? And so I said this, Kenyon. This is the heart of the people. People, the true heart. This exposes the heart of the people. The real issue with the people heart are they are inundated with prestige and status, and that's it. And that this situation exposes their heart. And plus, when you look at the F-150 Lightning and its mileage, its range is not that great, right? For a truck, right, of a comparable size and gas, it's not that great, right? So when you think about Tesla, you are actually thinking about a cult following, right? And when we think about cult following, we also think about people who do not think intuitively, right?
Yep.
So I hate to say that, and that's what's going on with Tesla. It's a cult following, and it's an issue of the heart to say, hey, I want to be affiliated with Tesla because of the nameplate. It's no different than Gucci, or you see them ugly Gucci shoes.
I was just about to make that comparison after you just finished. That right there.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is. Is these people just want to have it just for show. They don't.
Exactly.
It's the same like when if Gucci makes a shirt that says Gucci on it, but it ain't nothing but a Hanes T-shirt, but they just stamp the logo on it. People are going to run regardless, just because they feel like they're joining some sort of club, like some organization, and that they are on the higher side of things. When essentially, all you're doing is buying something subpar with a fancy badge on it. That's all you're doing. It's the same thing when you go buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
You're not buying that Tesla because that Tesla, you know for sure, is better than something like a Mach-E or something like Ioniq 5. You're buying because it says Tesla.
Exactly.
That's the only reason that you're buying that car.
Now,
Exactly.
I would argue that you have to build a brand. You can't just show up
You
with
absolutely do, but we know that Tesla. We've seen the
They
quality
shot
of
it.
that car. And you as Kenya told me one time, he said it got school desk interiors for wood.
Exactly.
We know that car is cheaply made, and you look at its competitors like the EQS or the EQE, or you look at the Audi with their EVs, and you look at every other single legacy car maker in comparison to Tesla. Every single one of them is better.
And
Exactly.
Every single one.
One thing, yeah, I agree, but I'll just say this: the F-150, 650,000 sales. The Model Y is selling almost as well as like the Toyota Corolla. Do you think that Tesla will be able to repeat that same magic they had with the Model Y with the Cybertruck and reach somehow maybe 650,000, 750,000 sales sometime in the near future, like maybe the next 3 years, 4 years? with the Cybertruck? Would they
Okay,
be able to accomplish that?
let me take that, Kenya. Let me take this question, because I think this is personal for me, right? Because Kenya and I argue about this for years, and this is why I feel like it's a personal attack on me.
Oh.
So
Say it wasn't even personal.
okay. So here's the thing: when it comes to the Cybertruck, so to maintain peace, we're gonna maintain peace, right? The Cybertruck, again, we are dealing with a cult following. It's not gonna make those sales like the Model Y did, right? One of the reasons why the Model Y made those sales is affordability and it within reasonable range, right? That's
Yeah.
why the Model Y made those sales, right? The Cybertruck is not going to get those numbers, but I can suspect 60K to 70,000 units, right, being sold.
I can see
I
that.
can see that.
Yeah,
Maybe even 100,000, but not
yeah.
not
Well,
600.
no.
I'm not gonna see Model Y sell.
Yeah.
No.
But you have to understand this Cybertruck is creating, like, it punches you in the face. It creates that divide of Kenya and me. Like, you are not in between on the Cybertruck, right? When you look at the Cybertruck, you like, oh man, that looks so futuristic. Or you like Kenya, and Kenya's like, oh man, it looked like a trash can, right? And so, so it creates that, and
Look,
that's
them old aluminum trash cans.
stock value.
roasting it, man.
No, but
Those are like a trash can, man.
for me personally, I love it because
like
it
a
has
trash
that
can,
shock
man.
value. I love it. I would, like, if they put a range extender in the Cybertruck right now, I would legitimately buy it.
And there goes your
Period.
trunk too. There goes your trunk too.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't do it.
So do you like the car because of the shock value, or do you like the car because of the way it looks?
You wouldn't do it.
I like it because of both. Because here's the thing.
You wouldn't do it.
Me,
man.
I don't know.
You don't know your own heart.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I love it because
No, you
I
don't.
went to school for architecture, and
I
so
know you.
I love art, and I love.
So I can understand why you.
I love that whole value of how it presents itself in the proportions and
Like
stuff.
a trash can, like you said.
So yeah, I love it.
Like
So
you put trash in it. That's what it
and
look like.
guess what? It's a part of me that loves it so much, and when you guys don't like it, guess what? It makes me love it even more. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, any other takes?
Man,
I just say that you're right. They're gonna do numbers on the car. I'm not even gonna do Model Y or Model 3 numbers, but
I'm not gonna do
because-
F-150 numbers. Period.
Yeah.
I don't think ever.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think no.
I mean,
what?
It's not go. But it's a Tesla though. That's the thing.
No,
Tesla sell.
Okay,
There's
listen.
one thing they can do.
Kenya, I'm not talking. Listen, I think we got to be realistic, right?
Now you're talking about the number one selling vehicle. Period. F-150 is the number one selling vehicle.
I'm not saying that it's not going to. It's not going to do those numbers at all, but it's going to do within its market. It's going to do better than the Rivian. I tell you that much.
Oh, for sure.
It depends on what you call sales success. I guess I'll say that.
Yeah, it's going to do better.
I think it'll do better than the Rivian. I think it'll do better than the Rivian because Rivian doesn't have the same stock value that Tesla got.
Yeah. So yeah,
we'll see. We're gonna see.
So
it looks better than that Cybertruck. I know that.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. We got
Tesla.
I don't know.
We got biases over here.
I mean, Rivian. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right.
Okay.
I got you.
Moving on. Okay. Thank God we are leaving the EV market. Oh, God. Okay. So we're going to get into name calling. We got the Kia Forte to Kia K4. What are your thoughts? Let's stop at the name. What are your thoughts, Chris, about
that's all I know.
Forte being changed to K4, like a nomenclature?
I 100% agree with it. I 100% agree with it. I think it's
your generation.
It's great. That car. Have you seen that car?
I agree with it, but I'm talking about the name change. What are your thoughts on the
He's
name
talking about the
change?
nomenclature changing from
K4.
I like it. I
You
think
like
I
you
don't
like
really like
K4?
Forte. I don't really like that name. I think K4 is just simple, straight to the point.
Man, I can't even remember that. I'm for real. I'm gonna be honest with you.
wow.
Nomenclatures, I can't remember. I
But
mean,
easy. You just all you gotta do. Look,
it's
nomenclatures are
study.
easy. No, you don't.
Yes,
They're
you do.
easy.
I'm being transparent here. When it comes to nomenclatures, I fall short. If it does not have a nameplate, I
That's
forget it.
that's what people said about Infinity before Johan Denisha got there and changed all their names to nomenclature.
The
Q
only
is for SUVs and Q is for sedans
Kenya,
and sports.
Kenya, the only reason
Simple.
people look Kenya, reason people know Infinity nomenclature is because Infinity drivers are crazy. So we are forced
No,
to
they
know
had
the
M this, Q this, J this, I that. They had it, but they just changed it to something very simple. Okay, we'll
okay,
make it
whatever.
easier for you.
Okay,
The
Kenya,
key is doing the same thing. I mean, the small vehicles gonna have a small number because our vehicles gonna have the bigger number. Easy.
so you are okay with the nomenclature, Kenya?
I love it. I think it's just fine. The K5 and the K4, you already know what the K5 is. You know what the K4 is.
I actually don't.
You
And
know what the
Chris,
K5 is. You know what it
I
is.
know what the K5 is only
Exactly.
because
Yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
studied it.
No,
I
you
had
didn't.
to I had to study it, right?
No, you didn't.
But if you would have said Optima, I would have been like, oh, I know it.
Kia
Optima.
Optima.
Yeah, I was I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, but
You know what a
okay.
Mazda 3 is and the Mazda 6 is. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because it has legacy. I'm forced to know legacy, right? So, okay. Moving from that, right? Chris, what are your thoughts of the K4, the new K4 entry?
I think it marks a significant, almost like an evolution in Kia's lineup at this.
And you know, evolution is a revolution, man.
Yeah, revolution. Yeah, I mean this thing, coming from a Mazda buyer, it's kind of scary because that's a nice car, man, and I can see that thing competing. And if you look at just a few aspects of the power, they offer two different powertrains for it. They offer you have your standard 2-liter 4-cylinder, and you have your optional the 1.6 turbo variant of that. And who knows what they may come out with besides just those two. I think it's compared to what Kia has previously released. I mean, I want to do just a slight detour with them. It's just Kia has really improved from what they come from, and I had to give them nothing but props because what they have released ever since the Stinger to the K5 to now the K4, and I'll even say the Telluride. Kia has really made their way in this market away from like the Kia Soul or the Optima. They have really stepped up in terms of looks, ride quality. I mean, even pricing. I mean, the cars are priced fairly well. I think that with this new K4, Kia has now showed the car market that we are legit. I know the Stinger was there, I know the K5 was there, but I think this has really put the nail in the coffin. As if we are here and we have something that can go up against all of y'all. And I think it's good for them. Very good. And the interior of the car is very interior, exterior, everything. It's very, very nice. Very nice car.
I agree with them 100%. I would even say it's more than an evolution. It's a revolution. What car looks like that?
Yeah.
That right there. Kia has some really interesting designs coming out of Asia. I see a lot of similarities in Asian cars.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. But Kia, for whatever reason, they've managed to stand out, like, among all of them. I'm giving them props, man. Like, no, you can't take that away from them. I mean, the K4 looks better than I thought it was going to look. I mean, I've seen the spy photos and whatnot of it in camouflage. And, you're thinking it's just going to be an evolution because the Kia Forte, to me, didn't look as good as the Hyundai Elantra. And now, if you look at this K4,
I'm picking
K4 out there.
It looks, to me, it looks better than that Elantra.
Yeah, I'm picking it.
Yeah, I would say that.
Oh,
I
I'm
would
glad.
agree with that.
I'm really happy for y'all. There's hope for you yet, dog. Like there really is. There really is. Gosh, man, you had me going for a second. I was sitting there looking at you, wondering if you were going to say the right thing, and you did. I'm proud of you, man. Pat on the back. It's beautiful, and so I was like, dang. When I saw that, I was like, oh, man, that
He is
thing.
here. They coming.
I'm like, yo, Mazda, watch
Okay,
out,
can
because
we add
they're
that in
trying to
one?
follow you.
Can we add that in for one moment? What do you think Mazda's gonna have to do to get to?
They're gonna have to do something to separate themselves from that, because if
Yeah.
they go up market now, mind you, Kia is not gonna encroach on Genesis. Okay, they're not gonna try to do that. So
Right.
there's only but so far. But that design is so interesting. It's nothing like it. Like it really does. It stands out, and it stands out in a good way. It's nice looking. It's beautiful. Its interior is okay. Its interior is basic. It's simple.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it
Yeah,
too.
I like it.
Too.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. You know, it's not a standout interior like a Peugeot or something like that.
No.
It's not like that, but
it's simple. It has everything you need.
Yeah,
understandable.
It's simple. It's got buttons, and I'm so glad about that. But that design is I love it, man. And it's got 2 engine options so far. One is 147 horsepower, 2-liter engine, when the other one is actually 190 horsepower.
1.6 turbo.
Yeah, 1.6 turbo. And that's interesting because the previous generation Kia Forte GT actually had 200 horsepower. So it
did drop down.
So it dropped down. But one thing you can say is actually the largest vehicle in its class now. So that means that it's bigger than the Honda Civic. And so it has the most, probably right now at this point, the most space in that class. And so, but yeah, it's looking really good, man. I'm really proud of Kia, man, for that.
They're only going up from here. I mean,
Yeah,
just based on the trajectory of where they've been at.
I can't wait to drive it. Like, I want to see what it's like.
I do too. I'm excited. I'm excited for that car.
Let me give you my take. Hey, can you make sure your mic is up? Anyway, bring your mic up a little bit more. But yeah, so I agree with everything you guys said. I think ultimately, Kia is playing for keeps, and that's how you're supposed to enter the car market. If you know you're the underdog, if you know you already have established legacy brands in the market, if you're going to present yourself, you need to present yourself with swagger and power, and that's what Kia did. And so here's the issue with the Mazda thing, and Chris asked Kenyans a question about the Mazda.
Careful now, Donald.
Oh no, go ahead. I know I got two biased people.
Look,
I already know. I got two biased individuals. It's okay. So look, listen. So I'm gonna say this. This is just me being transparent. I know that Mazda has a level far as when it comes to quality that a lot of its competitors don't have, right? So I say that I think Mazda has always, at least for the last 7 years, far as interior fit and feel, has been ahead of its competitors, right? I say that. But for Mazda 3 to compete against his new K4, if I'm cross shopping, it needs to add some leg room in the rear passenger seat in order to compete against the K4. And I think it competing against the K4, because I think the Mazda 3 is already a sensual, beautiful car, right? I think it's probably one of the most beautiful hatchbacks out there today, period.
Now, Chris, has Evan ever had any issues sitting in the back seat of that Mazda 3?
Nah, not that I.
Chris
I've heard.
I actually sat in the front and he sat in the back behind me.
Delusional.
No.
At best.
I'm being 100%. I'll use my grandparents. I take my grandparents to the airport all the time when they go to go on vacation, and they love the car. They love
Monster
the car.
3. The
Yes,
They love
absolutely.
it, and they drive Mercedes. So they love the car. That's
Hey,
just saying enough.
let's
I got European car buyers over here saying that they love this car.
okay, let's
Absolutely.
pray.
We know how picky and bougie they can be.
And we're gonna
Oh,
pray
yeah.
right now. Heavenly Father
Yeah.
God, we just thank you for Chris and
Yeah.
Kenya and the deliverance right now. That they
We're
are
doing
delivered from their delusion.
We are doing great. Oh yeah. Thank you, Lord.
So okay, Chris, you're 6'1", right? You about 6'1".
Yeah.
Okay. You're telling me that you can comfortably sit in the real seat of a Model 3 hatchback.
Mazda 3.
Mazda 3 hatchback.
Okay. I will be honest.
Okay.
It's not cramped though. It's not to where I cannot move around. I can sit there. It may not be the best.
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. I'm not, because if I want to get that space, I'll go up to a 6. Or,
Oh my God!
But
that is so.
There's
That's
other
so
vehicles.
delusional.
There's
You
other
guys
vehicles.
are just biased.
We're not biased. We're not saying that's okay. I'm gonna name
We're
the
saying the
cars
car can
that
use
have
more space.
It's close with the Corolla. Okay, it's
Okay,
pretty close.
Okay.
Okay, but the cars that really have a lot of space are the Civic. You already know that. That's the largest one in its class. It has the most space. The Civic mainly. The Jetta is pretty good. The Nissan Sentra. I think out of all of them, those have, the most. The Chevy Cruze is no longer in production, so we can't look at that. But I would say the Model 3 has more space than the Cruze did.
But it's not in production. So I mean,
it's not in production, but I'm just saying it did. And it was acceptable. It sold. Okay, that didn't stop people from buying that when it was on sale.
That's because that's all they could afford. I mean,
ain't no winning with him, man. There's no winning with this guy. There's no winning. You cannot win, man. Look,
it's not too cramped. It's just. It's in the middle. Could it use a little bit more? Yes, I will agree. Yes, it could use a little bit more space, but I think
they're gonna fix it because it's close to the end of its life cycle.
Don, you got to understand, Mazda is only going up from here. The 3 hasn't even had its facelift yet. But it hasn't hit the point where the CX90 is and where it's going, where everything's going. It hasn't hit that market like that yet. Just wait. It's only a matter of time till Mazda will. I think they're going to expand on that car. I think it's only a matter of time because they're going up market. And up market, your space and the simple things of space and motorized seats for the front and having the rear vents. I mean, all that stuff's going to have to come into effect. I think Mazda will implement those things into those cars once time goes on. I just think you got to give it some time. Because right now, I haven't heard nobody say, "Man, it's too cramped back here. I can't move." I don't got Yao Ming sitting in the back. I don't got Banu Bol sitting in the back.
You're not looking for that. I mean, when you 6'3" or 6'5", you're a football player. You're not gonna look for a compact vehicle anyway.
No.
So I mean, I will admit, Mazda does need to improve on that because cars in the compact category are starting to offer more space now.
Yeah,
the Civic offers a lot of space now. Now the Kia K4 offers a lot of space. Hyundai Elantra offers a lot of space. And these things are not going to offer less. They're not getting the same. They're getting more. Whereas, actually, to be honest, in terms of the numbers, the Mazda 3 in the current generation is the same as the previous generation in terms of just numbers for the amount of legroom in inches that you get front and rear. It's the same. So I will admit they do need to improve in that area, in the future. But it's not like, oh my gosh,
it's unbearable.
It's like people bought the CT4. I mean, that thing is cramped. The CT4 is cramped.
Yeah.
The Audi A3 is cramped. And so people still buy it.
Nameplate.
Oh, okay. That's the
so we getting back into bias.
Look, we closer to them than that Hyundai Elantra. I know that.
I
You know?
mean, yeah, that's
Yeah,
understandable, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean, one thing, okay, this is what we need to address about Monster, right? And I said it before I say it. Monster understand their market and how they produce their cars, right? And so they are doing enough to make profit, right? But their Monster is really conservative, right? That's they when it comes to
Right. Yeah.
um their entry into the market and how they go about it, they're very conservative. And so they release enough cars into the market that they know are going to sell,
Right.
right? And so Monster at one point, I think it was last year or 2 years, they almost sold
They sold
almost every
383,000
almost
last year.
every one of their vehicles that they produce,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So Monster is intelligent about that, right? So I'm giving them that. So I'm just saying, is Monster really competing against the big boys? Let's be
Big
like
boys are cool. Like you talking
Like
about
who?
Acura, Buick,
Toyota,
man,
you know.
they look, man, we a
I mean,
class
because
above
you
them,
you
man. We a
I
step
mean
above
that
them,
they
man.
are. I'm saying in luxury they are, but what happened if Monster ran a more spread offense when they have increased their value in production? How well would you think they will go against the big boys?
Well, the CEO said himself that we are not going to chase volume, and we can't chase volume. And
Okay,
so
and
that
that's yeah.
their strategy,
That's a conservative approach.
it's a conservative approach. They don't want to chase numbers, but they want more customer loyalty. They want more identity. And
These are the same things that me and Ken have discussed before. I think Mazda is playing. I think Mazda is playing the correct way. I think they cannot chase volume right now because I don't think they have enough of a loyalty and brand recognition as Toyota or Honda. They have to gain that, and right now this is the way to do it. And I think as time goes on, then they may chase volume, but they have to get loyal buyers. They have to become a brand where it's like when people want to consider their first car or their next car, should I get a Toyota, Honda, or Mazda? Right now, it's Toyota and Honda. Those are
yeah,
the two ones that when people think, because I was one of them, I was going for my first car
same here.
out of high school. At first, it's Toyota or Honda. Mazda has to now be in that has to put themselves in that conversation. So I think right now the way that they're doing it is in by releasing these cars and gaining these people, their shock value is good, especially with that CX90. I think that this is a good start at where they're putting themselves, and I think what they've been showing from the was the iconic ST. I think is that what it's called, Kenya?
Yeah, it's a concept. Yeah,
Yeah. With I think their only goal is up from here. I don't think they can go way back what they were back in 2012 I don't think they're not going to go that they're not going to be that no more.
Oh,
Mazda is about building their brand and image and gaining these loyal buyers.
oh, really?
And
yeah.
I, cause
really, really,
I forgot a part of history when Monster was just rebash Fords. I forgot about that.
Well, you know,
I
we ain't
forgot
past
about
that. Don't
I
forget. I
forgot
forgot
about
about
that.
that part where
I forgot
Hyundai
about
was making disposable vehicles. Okay, they were. I mean, you buy them, they last for 5 months, and then they break down. You get rid
yeah,
of them.
there you
Buy
Oh,
another
go.
one.
Okay, okay,
All
okay.
right.
So I got a question for Kenya now, and this is kind of a rudimentary question, and just give me your take on it. Uh, do you think that compact sedan will be able to live on in the next generation?
Next generation meaning past like what
10
2030 or
years, 10
10 years?
years, 10 years from
Absolutely,
now.
absolutely, man.
Why?
Compact sedans will never die. It's they're cheap. They're good looking. They had a good combination of good looks, drivability, fuel economy, um, space, practicality. They have an affordability up front, and so they'll never die. They'll never go the way of like what you see like large sedans. that market has shrunken a lot. But the compact sedan market is still here. Unfortunately, Ford didn't see that, and Chevy didn't see that, but they're still here. The Corolla says it all. Compact sedans are generally reliable vehicles most of the time. Any automaker can choose anyway. Most of the time, the Corolla shows that, look, these things are still here. They're not going anywhere. The Hyundai Elantra sells them good. The Kia Forte sells them. The Nissan Sentra sells it good. I could go on. So they're definitely going to be there for the next generation. You don't have to worry so much about them meeting the EPA regulations, because they're always efficient. They make good hybrids as well. So yeah, they'll definitely be able to live on to the next generation. For certain.
Yeah. I'm agree.
Okay, Chris, your take on that?
I think it's that most important fan. I can hit all the points.
Okay.
I just think that, I don't see a whole bunch. Because you gotta look at both demographics. You gotta look at male and female demographics. We all know, if you're looking at demographics, you'll see that some females drive crossovers, SUVs, but I don't think every dude is gonna be comfortable driving a crossover.
Nice.
I think it's a style. I think it's like a style thing, man. Nice, smooth, sleek car that's quick, compact. I don't think they're gonna go up and they're not gonna hit that Macan mark. They'll leave that to the women. I don't think dudes are gonna stay with the stand. I think the male demographic is gonna stay with the stand. It's gonna keep it a lot. I think compact vehicles will be fine.
Yeah.
I don't see anything
luxury or mainstream. I think
luxury or economy or mainstream.
They're healthy.
I think they'll be
in a healthy place. If you want to consider the CT5 as a compact, it's officially a D segment car. No, Cadillac calls it a mid-size sedan, but it's pretty much taking a role of a 3 Series competitor, and that's the number one selling car that Cadillac has globally right now.
Yeah, which is surprising me.
Yeah, but this just shows you though that the formula they have for that vehicle works. What they did with it works, which is create.
Boy, is it nice, man!
It has a lot. It has a footprint of almost. It's like between the size of a 3 and a 5 Series.
Yeah,
and it's sold at a compact sedan price point, so it kind of gives you the dynamics of the 3 Series, and it gives you almost all the space, or somewhat close to the space of a 5 Series. And so that formula has proven to be profitable for them. So yeah, definitely, I think that's the way to go for premium compact sedans in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I agree with both. We already went over how K4 will be able to compete against the big dogs, i.e. the Civic, Corolla.
It's what I'll answer that question right now.
Yeah.
Look, this is a case where I'm gonna tell you this: it's not gonna sell as well as no Civic or Corolla.
Understandably.
And it's not fair. It's wrong, but because it looks way better than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's gonna do good numbers. I know it's gonna get a sales increase because it looks good.
But it won't do Civic and Corolla.
But it won't be. Because being behind is really hard to make up that gap. As good as Audi is, they're still trying to catch up with Mercedes and BMW. So
yeah, Audi okay.
Yeah, they're great, man. They're awesome.
Awesome. They're
absolutely amazing cars. Amazing. Yes, especially that A7, man, and that A8, man. It's amazing, right?
I like the A6. The A6 is my favorite.
Well, so you take it apart, looking at engine bay and do maintenance on it.
Yeah,
it's a whole different story.
Yeah, Audi Quality has went down tremendously.
Oh, wait a minute, hold up.
About the past 5 years, yeah. Audi used to be.
Talking about? What you talking about, man?
I'm talking about their reliability. I'm talking about their reliability. Right? I'm not talking about their interior quality, fit and feel. I'm talking about their reliability has went down. in the past 5 or
Of
6
course,
years.
you looking at JD Power or something, man. Like,
No. Audi used to be the
yeah,
number
JD Power.
one of the big three. They used to be way more reliable than Mercedes or BMW.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
But they're not doing it no more. So,
I'm not so sure about that.
Chris, do you want to tackle also how do you think Kia K4 will compete against the big dogs, Civic and
I think
Corolla?
it's better.
I don't.
It's better.
I know it's a better looking car. I know it's
just better. Period.
It's yeah, but I don't think it's not gonna do numbers like the Civic.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna.
It's not gonna do it because you're fighting against conglomerate, just a big conglomerate who has had a stranglehold on the car market for 30, 40, 50 years. Even back to when Kenya was getting his first car. I mean,
yeah,
even all the way up to me. You know, they have had the market forever, and it's not, they haven't had it in a bad way because they're not releasing bad stuff. But it will do numbers. It will do good, but it will not do Civic Corolla. I don't see it. If it does, that'd be dope. That'd be great.
In terms of compact mainstream cars, if you want to still consider the Mazda3 mainstream, I would tell anybody, okay, if you're not gonna get the Mazda3, get the Kia K4.
Yeah,
absolutely, hands down, Kia K4. I would even say, I heard good things about the Civic, but it just don't stand out in terms of its looks.
No, it doesn't. It's just when you hear a Civic, you say it's a Civic.
It's a Honda.
Like I said, when I got in a Honda Civic for the first time, I was looking for my first car. I was like, well, yeah, I'm in a Civic. When I got in a Corolla, I was like, yeah, it's a Corolla.
It's a Corolla, yeah.
Now, when I got in a Mazda,
it was a whole different thing.
I said, this is a Mazda?
It's like being in something high
there's
class.
No way.
Man.
I was like, they must got the wrong sticker on the car. There's no way this thing is like this. I never looked back.
Oh my God.
They are completely reborn. So, right. I would recommend, in terms of maybe the top three, three, the Kia K4, Hyundai Elantra, and the Honda Civic. Those are four. Those are my top recommendations in the mainstream category. If you want to consider Mazda3 mainstream, I think it's more of like an accurate Integra, if you ask me. If it's mainstream, since it's classified as that, I would definitely recommend the Kia K4 right underneath it. It's going to outsell the Mazda3 to K4 because Kia's a larger company.
Yeah.
But man, anybody that says, "Oh, no, Honda and Kia, they don't make good cars," you're way behind times. Pay attention. Y'all way behind times,
back in when those Kia Souls came out. They had bad
the 90s or the early 2000s no more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Kia's been making good cars since at least 2010 now. 2010, around that time. So
it's not what those Kia Souls though had a lot of problems though. It was all that had burning oil, and gasket issues. I mean, yeah, they eventually ended up ditch fixing, and that car still is out on the market. Flies under the radar, but it is still present in the market.
Yeah,
you will see them quite often. I hate seeing a little mini fridge on the road.
Yeah,
like that car.
It was a refrigerator.
Really, I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, of course, different.
Yeah,
it
was different.
Yeah, you different. Man.
Like y'all like that traditional style. That's cool.
What traditional? Traditional.
And that's cool. And I get down. I like Mazda. Right? I'm not gonna be biased like Kenya.
Hey,
but Mazda.
I'm giving Hyundai and Kia full credit, man. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm giving them.
Donald, can we at least talk about also that G80 Magma? I like that car.
Oh, look at that! Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
You know what?
I feel so touched.
That's all you got. I'll give you that. I'll give him the G80 Magma.
We're gonna talk about that later. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. So, but hey, what about that Neolon? Anybody see that Neolon? I'm pronouncing it.
I haven't seen that car. No.
Neo.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen.
Hey, let me see me take a look at this.
Neo.
So we are Neolon.
All one word.
Yeah, Neolon. So I'm gonna
Neo.
share screen. See, we are going to Net Car Show. Just so y'all see that?
Ain't it like a rebadged Genesis?
It is a Genesis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the GV90, I guess it's gonna be called, right? So
Yep.
I mean, I can't wait to see it in production form.
So sad part is it's electric. So that's the sad part.
More than likely they're gonna have a gasoline or hybrid version.
Hopefully.
More than likely.
So hopefully that's the case. Right?
They're not gonna have all that.
Yeah,
tell you that right now.
But I say, ain't no way they got that.
They're not gonna have all that.
So what are they trying to go for here? A limo?
Yeah, I guess so.
A Mercedes Sprinter van?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it?
Well, they've been having that in the concept for about 30 years now with the shields facing each other.
It's not gonna happen unless it's completely level 6 autonomous tech.
I mean, they've been having it in minivans. They got it in minivans. Toyota got that feature. That was 30, 40 years ago where you can change the chairs facing towards each other, the Toyota. But if they bring it, they are going to bring this to the market, right?
GV90.
Yeah. They're going to bring this to the market, right? So if they bring this to the market, who do you think will be afraid?
Ain't nobody gonna be afraid of
nobody. I don't see it, man. I'm not seeing it, man.
Oh my God!
What you say?
God,
listen, okay. It's just one of those things. It's not fair because it's like, what can they really do to prove that they that good? And they are that good. I really, personally, I believe that they are.
Don't you think Genesis is kind of overstating their hand a little bit, Donald? I mean,
my God!
I think that we know y'all are like that, but y'all need to settle down. Okay,
this is monster people talking about me.
Hey, listen.
Whoa!
What did I just say? I'm just saying that Genesis is
good. Okay, good. I know. I don't think. Okay, I say if I go by it on the analytical level, right? This is one of the best way to enter into the luxury market, right? With the SUV, the luxury SUV, right? Now, however, the GV80 has done extremely well, right?
Sales comparable to like the QX60.
I mean, we're not. Listen. When I say extremely well,
I mean, it's a great car. Yeah,
I'm talking about like they're counting a conservative approach with the GV80.
Right.
And so in the sense of the GV80 is being sold as much as they can make, but the demand, they're meeting the demand, and it's not like a overturn of demand. You understand what I'm saying? So they're making sales and they're doing proper sales with the GV80. So I think the GV90, okay, as I think about it now, it is a tough market. So
you got that QX80 out there.
You got and you got to go against the QS80, and you got to go against the Escalade, and you got to go against the Mercedes GLS, right, and the
Navigator,
BMW X7. So but I think that it can establish the Genesis brand as a flagship, and I think it can bring way to people coming more so for Genesis. You know what I mean? So
who are they going to be coming for? Because we got to remember that I don't think you'll see a European car buyer come over and pick it up. I don't know if that'll happen.
That's true.
Are they going to have to take Acura or Infiniti?
I think here's the thing: they're gonna the generations are not as biased as the previous generation. So I think they will do a little bit more cross shopping, right?
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
yeah, I say so. So
I
I
don't
think
know. I mean, because I feel like
okay, you know what?
they gave Lexus a fair chance, man, back in the 90s, man. Absolutely fair chance.
You know what? I take that back. I take that back.
No,
Forgive me.
no, you said it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about it. Like our generation are going to buy this. Is going to buy this GV90. Our generation. I hate to say it. We want. You know. I'm not saying. I'm not speaking for myself, but for the masses of people in my age demographic, they can't afford a GV90. So the older generation, which is the buyer's generation, who can afford a GV90, will probably be a little bit more biased. And so they might not be buying a GV90 over the Lexus LX or the BMW.
UX80, the GLS, X7.
But I don't know. It's I think Genesis, if they say they're gonna bring this to the markets and it's gonna be the GV90. And I believe they can make some noise with this vehicle.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna make a lot of noise, man.
Yeah, I think so.
I definitely see that happening.
So any comments, questions, concerns?
No, we're gonna see how they do.
Yeah, we're definitely
always-
gonna see. I'm
I'm-
interested in seeing how they do in the Magma editions of Genesis.
Likewise.
I'm interested in seeing how that's
Why
gonna be. I'm
why don't they
excited
make
for 'em.
why didn't they take that? I mean, is that just gonna be like a limited edition? What they're gonna be doing with that?
No. The Magma edition is going to be their
That'd be
their
like their
high.
Black Wing.
Yeah, it's
Kinda.
going to be like their Black Wing, right?
Okay,
And so
but that's good.
I'm excited for that.
That's a nice car, man. I
Yeah,
saw that thing pop. I said,
I'm
wow, and
excited.
seats. I mean, I don't know, King. That thing got some heat to it, man.
Yeah,
That car is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. We'll talk about it.
But you know what I'm interested in? I'm really interested in, and I'm being humble. I'm interested in what's going to happen with the Monster 6. Right? Are we? What I'm kind of excited about this wheel drive platform, and I'm really excited. Right? So
Yeah.
what's going to happen with the Monster 6? And I think if they do what they're supposed to do, like they did with the CS90, the CS90 is beautiful, right? I love it. I will buy my wife one, but I don't feel like her being a biased individual. So, there you go. So, but I'm really interested in what they're going to do with this the Monster 6. I'm really like that platform. Like I think if they do what they're supposed to do, and they do the same strategy as they did with the CS90, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that car will make the buck. But I have to ask King, how much power do you think that thing's got to put out?
It's gonna
Or
have
to
to put out
compete in the market?
350 horsepower, probably.
Easy.
I mean, by the time it hits the market, I mean, the question is I think Mazda right now, are they really willing to make that rear wheel drive without getting in this too much since we're about to close? But if they are going to make it, do they want to make it more expensive? Because let's take a look at it. Kia Stinger, is out of production. So
But it didn't have a
gotta look at
nameplate.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That is absolutely it. That is absolutely it. That's the answer right there. It didn't have a nameplate. It got great reviews from Car and Driver, Motor Trend. Still, that wasn't enough. I see it on the road often, but apparently, I don't know. It depends on the sales target and what they require it to sell in order to justify its production. So this is the way I look at it. I mean, people want to pay more for it, knowing that the 6 was being cross-shot with an Accord the previous generation.
Yeah. So, but I
Now it's
think
going to be cross shot with an Acura TLX.
you have a point. You have a point. You have a point. You have a point. But I think, yeah, I think Monster is right now. Their strategy is pretty good with their selling points, their price points. All right. So I think if they can, yeah, that Monster 6, if they do the exact same thing that they did with the CS90, that will put it in the Acura territory for it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, I
that
100%
is
agree.
that's danger territory too, right? It has to be it has to be affordable for the monster people who are diehard monster to buy. But you said it yourself, Kenya. You said it is. You said monster clients and customers always most likely opt for the high-end version of their cars, right? So if we have those individuals doing that, then it's a great opportunity that they can bridge the gap, right?
It has to be done slowly. So, I mean, they can't do
They have
all
to
that
build that
much.
base. They have to build a foundation.
Yeah, the 6, wasn't selling good. And during this generation, the last generation one, or the one that's on sale now, that's being put out of production as we speak in Japan. So it would be kind of a car that I would almost even say, if they are going to do it, it's kind of have to be kind of have a halo effect. It's going to have to make the whole entire brand look good. It's going to have to be like a flagship, and not necessarily a money maker. So
Listen,
are they willing to do that for that car, or invest that much in that car when I know Mazda wants to build sports cars like the next Miata, the next possibly RX-7, RX Vision, things like that.
the Miata.
So
What about the Millennium? They bring out a flagship and name it the Millennium.
now that would sit above a 6. So I mean,
Yeah, that would sit above the 6. So
you see, Acura got rid of the RLX. That's gone. I don't know if that is the right path unless it has Lexus ES type of space.
yeah.
And it's rear-wheel
Okay.
drive, and it's at the same price.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we are basically done for this podcast. It's been enjoyed talking to you two gentlemen. Once again, give it up for Chris.
Yeah.
Give it up for Kenya.
Yo, that's
KJ.
right.
And your boy, one and only, the Seymour, Donald Seymour, right here. The host with the most. So we just grateful for the viewers, and we can't wait to hear your questions, comments, concern. Leave it in the comment section. If you agree or disagree with us, feel free. Check us out on Spotify. We are on Spotify. Pretty soon we're going to begin on iTunes and all the streaming service. But for right now, we are on Spotify and YouTube. So we are signing out. It's been a pleasure talking to you fellas, and hope to see you next week.
Peace out.
Absolutely.
Peace out.